On the navigation side of the window, there are four main areas: the title of the question list in which you're working right now, the list of questions itself, the navigation buttons, and the progress indicator. The title of the question list with which you're currently working is going to stay the same for us because we're going to be sticking with the Quick Start Story Guide. But later, when you're a little more experienced, you might decide that you want to bop around a bit and first do something with the character story forming, work on your character structure, and then jump down to theme story weaving and determine how your theme is going to unfold for your audience. Anything is possible because in Dramatica, the story engine is constantly at work throughout the software, reflecting every change you make in one area in all other areas. Then this section here is the part you'll be using most. This is an actual list of questions. You see the introduction, the next one is status, the next one is important, you don't want to miss that, and then these little plus marks along the side. They appear a little bit different on a Macintosh computer, but they do the same thing. You click on one, and it expands that section into all of the questions contained. And if there's a subsection, you can click on that to expand it as well. As you can see, the Quick Start path gets very long, very quick. The Advanced Story Guide gets even longer, even quicker. Just clicking on it again will collapse that list. You can go to any particular question you want by clicking on it directly with your mouse at any point in the list and learn more information or answer that question. So even in the Quick Start list, I encourage you to jump around if you feel like it. It's set up in a particular order to lead you through the questions in the way that seems to make the most logistic sense, but that may not be the way that feels best to your muse. So please feel free to open each section, explore it, see what's inside, and proceed from there. In fact, this path favors the structuralist who wants to work out all the details of the story before writing, whereas for the inspirationist who'd rather work with the muse, bop some ideas back and forth, maybe even has already written a draft and wants to enter information about it and then find and refine the structure, you'll want to go to sections 5, 6, and 7. Each of these sections has italic listed questions. Italics mean that it's a storytelling question. If they're not italic and they just end up with the boldface, that's a story structuring question. So, go ahead to sections 5, 6, and 7 right off the bat if you're an inspirationist. Go through the list in order if you're a structuralist. Down here in this area with the navigation buttons, Start takes you to the very beginning, Close closes the window, Previous and Next refer to the questions in reference to where you are now. And down here, in the area that shows you your progress, it lists at the top the number of story forms available. Now, a story form is nothing more than a complete dramatic structure, and there's a whole spectrum of them, each one slightly different than the next. There's 32,768 that can be created by Dramatica using the number of story points that it currently tracks. Here, it will give you a bar graph to show you how much of all the possible story forming or story structuring you have done or completed at this time. Storytelling will show you how much of the story illustrating, storytelling questions you have answered, how many of them are completed at this time. Don't worry if you don't get them all completed. They're not all necessary for a complete story. A story of lesser detail will have less story forming, and a story that doesn't want to go into depth in some areas in the way it expresses things will not need to complete all the storytelling.